With tamales, it usually is around the Christmas traditions, but also, it can also have with the other holidays such as Thanksgivings, traditional Mexican holidays as well. I've been in Mexico a lot of times, and what I found is we are a very close niche family. When we make tamales, usually we do it for families. So ultimately, it centers around family. And I thought this was a great piece to add because it's really important for me because it plays a huge role.
So, hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Secrets of the Viz. Today I have Rudy, Tableau Ambassador, in the house to talk a bit on his IronViz entry on Tamales. So, over to you, Rudy, to give a little intro about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Rudy. I'm based out of Nashville, Tennessee. I have been a data analyst for less than 2 years. Before that, I took a Google data certification program. And from there, I started using Tableau. The tool itself, I really resonate a lot because I first got introduced to Tableau when I actually was in college. And it was around this time when we were in the class. I remember vividly, I took cells to columns, states to rows, and out of nowhere, it gave me a pie chart. I was blown away by then. All of a sudden, it's one of my favorite tools that I use literally every day at my work and also my free time. So, yeah.
That's really cool. I think that's most people's impression of Tableau when they first get into contact with it. Because before I joined the video games industry, we were using Power BI. And when I got into 2K games, everyone was using Tableau and I had no experience in it. But the first time that I opened it up, it was very intuitive. It felt so much easier than Power BI. But I did had to spend a couple of months learning the tool itself. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration behind your Viz Tamales. How did that whole idea came about? Because with a theme like food and drinks, there's a lot of different things that you could possibly went into.
Absolutely. So when the foods and drinks was announced for IronViz, I actually was in Mexico when it was announced. So it gave me a lot of time and a lot of ideas I can probably generate. My first two ideas I came in mind was Jarritos. And it's like a Mexican popular soda. And I also had tamales as well. And ultimately, it really came down to deep down to my heart, which was tamales, because I have seen my parents made it. I have seen other family members they have made it, and it is something that for me it is where I felt really resonated to, and that's why I stick with tamales. And I started breaking down how I want to tell this story, how I want to illustrate tamales.
That's really interesting because I think as I was exploring your Viz, I didn't know that Tamales had such a rich history. Like it went all the way back to like 8,000 BCE, which is crazy to think about how food has evolved over thousands of years.
When I was doing the researching, it literally surprised me. This was my first introduction of understanding more about tamales. I've seen how my families made it, and I was so curious about how long was this actually taken back. When I found out the result, I was like, oh, I didn't know it is that long backwards.
Cool. So maybe let's talk a little bit about the design. I know you have Figma draft that you want to show. You can walk through the choices that you made and the iterations that you made through the different versions.
Yeah, how I do in terms of the process with the tamales dashboard. I decided to break it down into four sections. One is the history. The second is how tamales is made. The third is family celebration. And the fourth is unwrapping the legacy. The first section, I concentrate more on how I want to present to someone that may not be familiar with tamales. And that it took a lot of time to iterate what is more important to understand. So if someone were to hover over a section, they will see more understanding within that specific timeline. It also give more info based on how the tamales were made.
I mean, when I first looked at this portion, it surprised me that it wasn't too much of a complex cooking process. It just took a little bit more time because you need time to soak the husk, you need time to prepare, you need time to wrap and steam it. But the preparation of the dish itself isn't too complex. And it's just amazing how this, probably because of how easy it is to prepare the ingredients, that it has survived thousands of years through the Aztec civilizations to the day.
Yeah, because I seen how my family has done it, and I actually survey my family based upon how long it would take. It does varies because we're making tamales based on how many family members are coming over.
The next section was really interesting as well because it talks about the importance of and significance of tamales in culture itself. And I noticed that tamales are kind of like the core activity when it comes to family gatherings and special occasions. This is, I would say, a little bit similar to the Chinese tradition. We have something called the dumpling festival, where you wrap sticky glutinous rice with pork, meat, egg, and something, and wrap it and steam it as well. So the process itself is a little bit similar to tamales, but tell us a little bit about how tamales like fit into the culture. Is it just a thing during Christmas, or do you guys do it on normal days, or it's mostly for special occasions?
With tamales, it usually is around the Christmas traditions, but also it can also have with the other holidays such as Thanksgivings, traditional Mexican holidays as well. I've been in Mexico a lot of times, and what I found is we are a very close niche family. When we make tamales, usually we do it for our families. So ultimately, it centers around family. And I thought this was a great piece to add because it's really important for me because it plays a huge role.
That's cool. So I was also exploring the map that you had, and it seems like every geographical area has a variation of the tamales in terms of the fillings itself. What are the different types of more popular tamales that you've seen?
I guess on the map aspect, I actually went into Google Trends and it gives a data based upon how frequent the keyword tamales is actually populated. And I came to find out that Mexico is actually more searchable when it comes with tamales. So knowing that aspect, I was curious about the other countries, how frequent it is. The more shaded is actually where it's more populated. That's how I break it down. And I have talked with family and friends just to understand how tamales are being used in other countries. The most that I heard is mostly Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador as well. Ultimately, this came with the Google Trends.
Mm. Was it hard to gather all the data for this quiz?
Yes. Yeah, because I was excited about the project. What I totally underestimated was collecting the data. I surveyed the data with my family. Then also I had to really go into more deep analysis on where to collect it because this was not an easy process. But luckily, I was able to define the right pieces for the dashboard.
That's cool. How long did the entire data collection take you?
Oof. I would say it took me with the researching at least a week.
So, what would you say is the most challenging part in doing this? Like, is it the design or the data or research?
I think to me, collecting data is fun, but I would say it's the design element because I did my first IronViz 2 years ago when it was about entertainment, and my viz was about the Super Bowl 1 through 58. For this IronViz, I knew this was something I want to really take everything I know from Davis and plug into the design aspect.
So, this being your second IMV's entry, comparing this with the Super Bowl one is a huge, huge improvement in terms of design, storytelling in general. In 2 years, you have grown a lot as a data visualization designer, and I'm excited to see where you go from your journey from now.
No, I really appreciate that. Obviously, I had to give a shout out to Ali. He was my mentor from the program DVS. He taught me a lot about data visualizations, how to go about designing, and without everything I learned, it wouldn't be possible.
That's cool. Yeah, Ali's a great guy. Um, is there anything else that you're currently working on that you want to tease the audience, like ideas that you have floating around in your head that you want to try out?
Let's see. So my next idea on my play would be so right now I'm planning to do another Davis on the video games. The game that I'm wanting to do is the Donkey Kong Bonanza. Love that game. It's super fun for me. It's literally a game that takes me back to the Donkey Kong 64. I'm still in the process of how to make something that is really cool in terms of visualizing. But no, that's my next play.
I'm excited because just a shout out to folks who are listening to this podcast. Games Like This is doing a challenge since January all the way through Feb. And the idea is to get people to viz on the games that they played during the holidays or games that they really like in 2025 or even longer if you want. So Donkey Kong Bonanza is one of the games that came out in 2025, which is really fun. I've looked at a couple of the trailers and gameplay videos and it looks really fun. I haven't got a time to play. I have to be really selective with my choice of games because I have 2 kids. So currently I'm playing Hades because I played that a couple of years back and then I stopped. I'm jumping back into it because Hades 2 is out and I want to play Hades 2 as well. So that has been taking a lot of my time. I might do a visit on Hades, but I'm looking forward to see the one that you do on Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think that's going to be a really fun one.
Yep, I'm very excited about doing the viz.
So I think we have everything we need from your viz today, Rudy. Thank you for walking us through your viz. I think you've shown a lot of growth in the past 2 years, thanks to Ali and all the hard work they put in, participating in all the different community projects and learning through practice. I think that's the best way to learn Tableau skills. I hope everyone learns something from this and gets inspired, and we'll see everyone at the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis.